Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Hello there, welcome to another beautiful day in a new week. We are set again to walk you through events across the globe. From the newspapers, we'll get you the headlines, do analysis, and of course, we're going to have you beats on, of course, sports, what's called business, and then we're going to do something on entertainment gist. My name is Henry Uzo, and of course, Success is here with us.
Good morning to our viewers from across the globe. Welcome to Morning Dew on Dott Television, where we bring you top stories and headlines happening across the globe. I am Success Benjamin. Your day just got brightened.
Yeah. Another beautiful Monday, and we are so delighted to have you. We'll be walking you through a lot today as we get into the groove of this week. Trust us, it's going to be an exciting week ahead. Come along. I am Ife Arono, and this is Morning Dew on Dott TV.
All right. How was your weekend, first of all? You guys are looking smashy this morning.
Amazing.
You're prepared to come. As we say in Pidgin English, we're not prepared to come.
The truth is that the weekend has a way of helping you relieve pressure.
Okay.
But when you spice it up with attending one or two events,
and then of course,
also gives
house chores.
No, not astros, not astros.
Okay. You don't do astros.
Yes.
There's a way we now manage it such
Okay.
that it's no longer like chore.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you're able to manage it, even within the week, you're cleaning up a few things. So during the weekend, you can let your head down.
For relaxation.
Yes, and
like
relax.
I like that.
So we don't postpone house chores to the
Women,
weekend
you are
anymore.
working smart now.
Of course.
I used to know weekend to be a time to pack out all the clothes, clean all the cobwebs, every corner of the house.
A lot of us.
Because you need the weekend to actually do one or two, attend one or two occasions, go relax.
I see.
Go to the cinema.
And when it comes to washing clothes, a lot of working class women now send their laundry to someone to manage it. Yes, so we've decluttered.
Yeah.
That way you can actually live life, because life is for the living.
All right, mine was very good because, of course, World Cup ended yesterday in a grand style, and of course, Spain ran away with the cup.
Ran away.
Yes.
They ended. That's what I mean. They ran away now because nobody was pursuing them. It was a bit cheap for them. Yes. We'll come back to continue with Morning Dew, and of course, Success will be standing by with the news updates. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
News updates on Morning Dew. Nigeria's Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, has arrived in Sierra Leone to represent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the 69th Ordinary Session of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of the Economic Community of West African States. According to a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nkwocha, where Shettima joined other regional leaders to discuss key issues affecting West Africa. The summit focused on strengthening regional cooperation, improving security, promoting democratic governance, boosting economic integration, expanding trade and infrastructure, and advancing sustainable development across the ECOWAS region. The meeting comes at a critical time as West African countries continue to address terrorism, political transitions, and economic challenges. Vice President Shettima is expected to return to Abuja after the summit concludes. Now on NDLA, meanwhile, Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) have intercepted 2 trucks carrying more than 1.5 million pills of illicit tramadol concealed in a hidden compartment while attempting to enter Nigeria through the Benin Republic border. The agency's Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, disclosed on Sunday that the seizure comes just a week after the NDLA officers in Lagos recovered 558 900,000 tramadol pills hidden in a special constructed first bottom compartment of a truck. Babafemi said the latest operation followed credible intelligence leading to the interception of 2 additional trucks transporting the drugs from Togo through the Benin Republic border into Nigeria. He described the operation as a major victory, saying the crackdown has disrupted another drug trafficking route and will help protect Nigeria's youth, public health, and national security. Now on entertainment, Nigeria's singer Timi Dankolo has denied claims by UK-based music promoter and DJ Bades DJ Timi that he owes him £4,106 in expenses from a cancelled UK tour. DJ Timi had alleged that the singer failed to repay tour-related costs and threatened to expose Dankolo's alleged private affairs if the money was not paid. In response, Dankolo, through his legal team at Whitestone Solicitors in Cousin Chelsea, rejected the allegation, stating that the tour was cancelled because the promoter failed to meet key contractions, technical and production requirements. The singer's lawyer have also issued a cease and desist letter demanding a public retraction and apology and the removal of the alleged defamatory post, warning that legal actions will follow if the demands are not met. Now on foreign scene, U.S. President Donald Trump has renewed claims that non-citizen voting threatens the integrity of American elections, accusing Democrats of allowing undocumented immigrants into the country to influence election outcomes. He has also called for stronger federal oversight of elections, describing voter fraud as widespread. However, Trump has provided little evidence to support his claims, including a recent assertion that 278,000 non-citizens are registered to vote. According to the Reuters, the Trump administration has filed at least 39 prosecutions related to alleged non-citizen voting over the past 18 months. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security is also investigating more than 325 suspected voter fraud cases across several states. The White House defended the enforcement's efforts, stating that non-citizen voting is a criminal offense and that anyone found violating election laws will be prosecuted. Officials say the measures are aimed at protecting the integrity of the U.S. elections. And that's it with news updates on Morning Dew. Still plenty more to come when we return. Stay with us.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
The Delta Broadcast Media Organization, in conjunction with the Delta State Ministry of Information, presents the Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2.0. Theme: The Broadcast Media as a Democratic Catalyst, Shaping Public Trust and Electoral Credibility in 2027. Keynote speaker, Sheon Okimbaloye. Anchor, Politics Today on Channels Television. Guest speakers, Ayo Mairo Essay. Anchor, Arise News. Agatha Amata, CEO, Trend FM. Samuel Fejoku, veteran broadcaster and senior special assistant to the governor on protocol. Guest of honor, Honorable Charles Ehiedu Aneagu, Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information. And Right Honorable Imomotimi Dennis Guo. Speaker, Delta State House of Assembly. Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff F.O. Oborewori, the Executive Governor of Delta State. Convener, media personality, Ruki Onoro. Date, August 14, 2026. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, Unity Hall, Government House, Asaba. There'll be high-level networking, media interaction, capacity building, awards, and lots more. Register to attend on www.deltabroadcastmediaconference.org. For inquiries, call 0706-701-8400, 0803-874-9265. Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2.0, powered by Delta State Government. Sponsors, Dominion Pearl Homes and One Niger app. Supported by NTA, DBS, Quest FM and TV, Warri Sentinel, Trend FM, Mega FM, Baramatu Voice, Boko FM, Crown FM, Sleek FM, Eku FM, Big Hot Radio, Cruise FM, Atlantic TV, Rise FM, and Dott TV.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Yeah, welcome back. And of course, it's time to look at the stories that made the headlines in some of our daily newspapers. We're starting with Business Day. And of course, on Business Day, we have Nigeria's offshore oil fields draw fresh billions after decade-long drought. And of course, CBN signals no rate cut in sight ahead of MPC meeting. That's all we can take on Business Day.
Now bringing us to Daily Trust, Niger APC primary crisis beats Bako against ex-Governor Bello. That's the front page of Daily Trust. And also, 3 students killed as troop for mass adoption in Borno. Surviving on a soldier's 100,000 salary, Spain beat Argentina to win second World Cup. Corpse of 30-year-old arrested at Abuja mining site found in mortuary. And that's it for Daily Trust.
Over now to Nigerian Tribune, where we have this major story. Tinubu will beat Atiku, Southern Coalition, APC boasts. And that's on page 2. We have the riders. Says president's votes can't be splintered in the South. Atiku Amechi ticket will unseat Tinubu and Shetima. That's from ADC. Above the masthead, concern over 207% surge in petrol import amid local production. Nigeria Revenue Service sets July 31st deadline for taxpayers to adopt e-invoicing systems. Oyinkansola Badejo Okusoya emerges NBA president, becomes a second female president. We also have Reps panel to consider Tinubu's state police bill today. May present report during plenary tomorrow. And on health, century-old TB vaccine may cut insulin needs in type 1 diabetes. That's according to a study. There's also this interesting one. Why 79% of Nigerians remain poor despite reforms and palliatives? And that's coming from experts. These are the topical stories on Nigerian Tribune this morning.
Moving on to The Guardian this morning, we have the topical headline there says DMO Dangote mobilized 11 trillion in 6 months as real sector struggle. And we have there Nigeria losing over 862 billion naira yearly as MDAs exceed 900, says Oye. Cooking gas imports surge by 1,400% as petrol supply dips by 22%. FG targets 729 billion naira second tranche bond to clear Genco's legacy debt. ICPC secures forfeiture of 941 million naira from IPPIS ghost workers. Serap urges NAS to withdraw social media shutdown bills. And that's it from The Guardian.
All right, on to The Nation. And of course, the banner headline there says Nigeria asks ECOWAS to drag South Africa before Africa Union. NRS gives July 31st deadline for e-invoicing compliance. Troops foil attempt to kidnap 46 students in Borno. And then, of course, Badejo Okusoya pledges to lead NBA with integrity. Then, of course, finally on that, we have Obi Atiku lacks structure enough to defeat Tinubu, says Ganduje.
Now, bringing us to Punch, the topical story on the Punch this morning is saying, marketers halt Dangote fuel loading, FG steps in. Then now we're going down on the right and say pricing uncertainty triggered Dangote fuel loading suspension. Refinery rejects claims of loading shutdown. FG opens talk with Dangote as FCCPC insists on Naira payments. Now, down on the rider, we have tenant dies after disputes eviction at Lagos estates. Iyabo Obasanjo clash over campaign refund. FG raises 729 billion naira bond to clear Genco's legacy debts. And on the top rider, we have business experts expect CBN to hold rates as MPC meets today. State pockets 2.3 trillion naira VAT under new tax regime. And that's it for the Punch.
And we can observe that across the national dailies, we have the photo of Spain.
Yeah.
Yes, prominently there.
As winners of the World Cup.
Yes, as those who lifted the World Cup for this year. On Daily Sun, we have above the picture, Super Charms, Super Spain. Congratulations to Spain. The major headline on Daily Sun, reasons we are prioritizing state police. That's coming from senators. Dispel fears about it. And that's the rider. Beside the masthead on Daily Sun today, governors have crippled local governments. Ex-council chairmen are saying that. And below that, Nigeria losing over 862 billion naira annually to proliferation of MDAs. That's coming from ex-Naxima boss. And he is asking for immediate implementation of Orosoya report, laments deduction of 658 billion naira by government agencies as 6-month revenue collection cost. We also have this one on Daily Sun. Troops foil ISWAP abduction attempt in Brunei school amid rescue of 46. These are the topical major stories on Daily Sun.
Now moving on to the Vanguard, we have petrol imports rose by 207% in June. Nigeria's macroeconomy reform are bearing durable fruits. And going down the topical story, there says superb Spain ruled the world, overwhelmed Argentina. Agro exports, agro exports crashed 31% as ports delays, pesticides triggers global. And that's it for the Vanguard.
All right, we have the Empire newspaper. And now from the Empire, we have Group wants destructive elements to halt attacks against PAP boss, that is a Poverty Alleviation boss, Dr. Otuaro. And of course, government kidnapped 3 mourning siblings, seized mother's corpse in Benue. That's all we can take from the Empire.
And lastly, on the Daily Times, we have privatization failed because the private sector didn't invest. That's from Professor Sambo. And we have here on the say CBN faces tough rates call as inflation risks persists. And that's it on the Daily Times.
Yes, those are the headlines. When we come back, we'll be having Dr. Ambrose Ibuke join us as we go on a review of some of the headlines. Stay with us. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News are your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them.
we impose extra burden on the masses. I feel your pain.
Only humility will lead us to unity, and unity will lead us to peace.
Go to the market and sell your products.
Echoes of the Niger Delta, telling the stories, preserving the heritage, and amplifying the voices of the people. Join the journey every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. only on Dott Television.
From Harrison, that is a massive world record. Martinelli goes, boys, out of his goal. Martinelli, this will be 3 for us.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Yes, we are glad to have you back. And of course, we have a flurry of headlines to look at in the papers in terms of analysis. We are having Dr. Ambrose Igboke join us on Zoom all the way from Enugu. And of course, he's standing by. He's a public affairs analyst. Dr. Ambrose, how are you doing this morning?
I'm fine. Good morning.
Good to see you.
Good morning, Dr. Ambrose. How are you doing today?
Good morning.
How is it?
This is my first time. This is my first time on Dott TV, so it's a new baptism.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Do you call it good baptism?
Yes. It's a baptism with a fresh morning dew.
All right. Yes, I like that. Yeah, good. You're welcome. And of course, we start up straight. We have some of interesting headlines that we want to look at. First of all, 100,000 naira salary for our soldiers. How do you look at that? How do we think that is appropriate for people who are fighting left, right, and center? And of course, they don't know what is behind them in terms of insecurity.
You know, there are people as citizens who give what we call critical essential services to the nation.
Yeah.
The military is a part of them. The security agencies, the teachers should be part of them. In serious countries, teachers are part of these critical services. These are the people that are primarily taxed with the welfare and security. Remember that the primary responsibility of any government is the welfare and security of the citizens. So when you bring up people that build a nation and the rest, so when you're offering just 100,000 naira to a soldier that goes to especially at the time of now, when we are fighting insecurity, when we are fighting terrorists, when we are at the peak of multifaceted fronts in the warfare against terrorists, bandits, and the people who are trying to destabilize our country, it is disheartening that just a paltry sum of 100,000 naira is being advocated for our people. Soldiers. This is not a serious way to deal with insecurity. We keep on saying we want to recruit new men or women into the armed forces. Is this how you're going to encourage them? 100,000 cannot even be a take-home pay for transportation, talk less of welfare. So I think the federal government should think about it and review it upward immediately to a substantial amount of money. I think they should be receiving nothing less than 200 to 250,000 naira minimum.
As minimum wage. All right, that's your view. And of course, you're talking about take home. We know that some of these soldiers, their pattern of transfer is very irregular and, of course, disparate. I don't know what level of comfort they can give them apart from, because salary itself, you transfer somebody from a cantonment, say in Port Harcourt to Kaduna, and of course, sometimes it's like they are left alone to know how to settle in. Yeah, what's your response to that?
Well, that's why I say, first of all, let's still have the basic salary, which should not be 100,000, which I'm advocating 250,000. Other things are just additions. For example, you have hazard allowance, you have transfer. When you are fighting for those people, for example, who are the war front fighting Boko Haram, who are have been deployed to the war front, they're supposed to have some sort of allowance too for being there. And so these things should be paid as and when due. There shouldn't be delays. There shouldn't be denials of their payment. They should be paid. We have had stories of police officers, for example, being transferred to other states, and they don't even have accommodation. Some of them sleep in the offices. So you need to see some of the conditions that these people go through. And this is not fair on our people. It does something to the psyche. It makes one disoriented. A man who is not psychologically balanced and it's armed, how do you want him to act and to react? So psychologically, it's not even in the best of frame of mind. And that is why sometimes we see the security people behave the way they do, because deep down inside, they are not well taken care of. So we should look deeply into what we are doing, because the politicians cannot be taking all the money, while the people who lay down their lives, who risk everything, are being denied of basic necessities.
Dr. Ambrose, thank you. Thank you for your thoughts. Now let's take a look at what happened recently. The president met with security chiefs, and the day after, we heard about the release of the abducted Oyo school children. Do you think that there is need for a comprehensive overhaul of what's presently obtainable as the welfare system for the entire security agencies who are part of this joint task force, usually for some of these cases of abduction and insecurity generally? What are your thoughts about broadening the scale of reformation of welfare systems?
Recently, I think that was last year, here in Enugu, although it was said all over the country, there was something about the Police Reform Act. I mean, the latest Police Reform Act that was, I think it was 2020, enacted in 2020. And I had the opportunity to be part of the sessions that were held. Different sessions were held for senior police officers, some for the men, for the officers, and the rest. And, the kind of things that came out from that session, I was so embittered that, that our policemen should not be treated. For example, the policemen are so maltreated that one begins to wonder whether they are part of the security architecture in the country. If a policeman stays 35 years, some of them go home with a paltry sum of 2 million, 1.5, 3 million naira as gratuity. Some of them, while they complain that an equivalent position in the army, like a captain, goes on with, I think, a 12 million naira, while his equivalent in the police, or equivalent rank in the police, goes on with like 3 million naira. And these are the disparities that we don't want to see. These are things that demoralize our men and officers. So it should be looked into. When we're growing up as kids, police officers don't even live among civilians. They live in barracks, well accommodated barracks, good barracks, very clean. That's what we knew. Soldiers lived in barracks. Everybody lived in a quartered. But now the barracks the police barracks are almost gone. Look at what happened in Lagos recently, where the police barracks in Ikoyi were asked to live there. So most of our police officers they don't live in barracks anymore. They are left to sort out their uniforms, sort out their boots, sort out their caps, sort out their many other things. And a police system that suffers its own police officers, demoralizes them, and make them paupers. It's not a good system for all of us. We need to do something very strong about ensuring that we enhance the welfare of our security men and women.
Yeah, before we let you go on this issue of soldiers and their welfare, we also hear that those who are retired, like you just mentioned, what they take away after retirement, we hear that some of them are even denied the payment, that the payment drags, and of course, sometimes some people die while pursuing their pension. Can you speak to that again?
Well, that is, I've had friends whose parents are part of the system. I've also know people who are part of that ordeal over the years, where they keep on doing verification upon verification. There should be a system in this country. We are in a digital age. There should be a system where people we can screen out people who are no longer alive. They will say, oh, wanted to do it so that we know those who are alive. I mean, we can't be doing physical verification, asking people to travel many kilometers, some of them very frail. They have to come on wheelchair and the rest. For example, I think the British system, we can go and copy from the British system, where once you're a pensioner in Britain, you must live in the country for 3 months or 4 months of every year. And I've seen a lot of people, even I think an old woman who's my neighbor here, who does it. Every time she travels to stay 3 months, that is how they check the system and make sure that the person is alive. Also, we can bring our own homegrown method of checking the system. But when you are, I tell people to, come every time for verification to know where they are alive. Those who have died, to clear their, to transfer their final payment to their families becomes a problem. We have heard of issues of delays, non-payment at all. Family members traveling to Abuja to sign one document on the other. Some died on the way. This is not how to treat people who have served you diligently over the years. And what does this do? It, people who are currently serving, it discourages them from being patriotic, because for them, if their older colleagues who worked for the country, who slaved for the country, who even died for the country, can be treated with contempt, what then happens to them? And that is why sometimes we see this malfeasance going on in the sector, and then why even in the civil service, why some the Nigerians don't feel patriotic, because the country does not protect them.
All right, so much on that. Let's move on to another area. We saw a publication Nigeria requesting ECOWAS to drag South Africa to the AU. I'm sure that's on the issue of xenophobia. Is it ECOWAS that should drag South Africa, or Nigeria should drag South Africa?
I don't particularly like the way the Nigerian government is treating the issue of xenophobic attack on Nigeria and South Africa. Nigerian government is being very, very weak in its response. I don't know why President Tinubu is not biting. Is it that he's afraid of Cyril Ramaphosa? Is it that Nigeria has become such a deadpan that we cannot even react when our own citizens are killed by fellow African countries? The South Africa High Commissioner or Ambassador is still sitting there in Abuja. He has not been expelled. These are the things that make us laughing stock in the international community. And that is the kind of behavior that gave South Africans the effrontery to kill our citizens, to evacuate them, destroy their businesses, and pursue them out of South Africa. Try this with an American citizen or a French citizen, or citizen of countries, or a Russian citizen, and see what will happen to you. Even try it with some of our African countries, their citizens, and see what will happen. But because of this kind of behavior from our government, we are being taken lightly. What is AU? AU is just like a sleeping giant. AU has lost its aura. AU has lost its power. AU is just living in past glory. AU does not have the capacity to do anything. If you're a citizen, the citizens that suffer from xenophobia, we are citizens citizens of Nigeria, and the Nigerian government should react appropriately. We have not until this time expelled the South African ambassador to Nigeria is actually a shame on us, and that we would have recorded our own ambassador if the person had ever started work. We didn't have ambassadors for so many years. So it's a vexation matter for any citizen of Nigeria.
Just to butt in here, Dr. Ambrose, talking about our president, you need him to bite now, or perhaps he should have bitten before now, before now. Are we not supposed to have a way that we respond, pre-planned and proactive plan for responding to issues like this? Because xenophobia is not new. We've had cases like this several times in the past. And we know that if there was a plan, all the ministry would do is to activate the plan and begin to act to protect Nigerians and to call the government of South Africa to be accountable and perhaps to step in to protect Nigerians. So do we really have a plan for managing issues like this as a country?
We don't. It was very clear that we don't. Even the evacuation of our citizens in distress, we didn't have a good plan. They have been killed. A lot of them have been in the camp before the APs and federal government arrangement started. Even the evacuation was very slow. They were weeks apart. I mean, these are the evacuations can be done in days, but these things were done batch 1 this week, batch 3, batch 2, 2 weeks time. I mean, this is not how to do it at all. So what is also comes to say is that we don't even have I keep on asking, what is the economic blueprint of this government? During Obasanjo's time as president, we had what we call NEEDS, National Economic Empowerment Development Strategy. And then the states domesticated it and called it State Economic and Development Empowerment Strategy, SEEDS. Okay. But now I don't know the economic agenda of this government. What we all hear, Renew Hope agenda. Renewable agenda is a campaign cliche. I mean, it doesn't translate to economic blueprint. A country who doesn't even have, tomorrow you say subsidy is gone, tomorrow you go through the backyard, you do it, you float the naira, you do all kinds of economic somersault. Just make pronouncements. Sometimes when there's outcry, you withdraw it. So a country who doesn't have patterned, economic blueprint does not have a crisis management. We don't have crisis management. Look at the way we won't treat flood victims. Every year in Lokoja, when the dam is released from Cameroon, we suffer flood all the way in 12 states, 15 states. Yet it happens every year. Consequences happen. We have no mitigation strategy. So a country who doesn't have mitigation strategy for things that reoccur every year will not have a strategy for crisis management. Normally, there need to be what we call crisis management and crisis communication. How did we even communicate? We didn't have an ambassador in South Africa for a very long time. So who do Nigerians even complain to? So it's all, I mean, we are laughing stock in the Committee of Nations. Okay, it's very sad that Nigeria has fallen so low.
Dr. Ambrose, now looking at how the Nigerian government is handling the xenophobic attack issues. So for Nigerians who has left their businesses behind and investments, do you think, or what are the plans, or how are they going to, recover their businesses?
Well, we have seen videos in recent times where a lot of South Africans showing South Africans looting the shops that were left behind by foreigners, including those of Nigerians. So I think most of them have lost it. They have lost investment. Some of them in the process lost their lives. Some people were suggesting that the Nigerian government should demand compensation of $60 billion from the South African government. South African government itself, through a spokesperson, I think 200 ministers have said no, that they're not going to do that, they're not going to pay for that. So for me, that is not even the major issue here. The major issue that we have not had an appropriate response that will actually make South Africa at least apologize and begin to do restitution. But we have not even done anything that triggers any kind of empathy, sympathy, apology, or even responsibility from the South African government, because we have so far demonstrated a very strong level of weakness in addressing this issue. So the businesses are gone. They have lost investments.
Dr. Ambrose, so what is the right step for the Nigerian government to take at this point in time?
Well, one of the right step is we should issue, for now, there has not been any strong statement from the presidency on this matter. There have been too much nicety, diplomatic nicety. It looks like we are indulging the South Africans. So first of all, the president should issue very strong statements. Cutting off some economic ties with South Africa, cutting off some diplomatic ties with South Africa by expelling their ambassador and recalling our own if the person have resumed duty. By also making sure that some of the, for example, there's the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement after that the South African, that body is supposed to promote unity in trade towards a single market for Africa, and the South African is heading it. The South African is that are pushing South Africa that is pushing the other African countries from the country is heading after. So first of all, Nigeria should insist that the person should step down, resign immediately, because what the country stands for does not even promote, it's an antithesis to what the person is. So with this kind of actions, then we know that South Africa will wake up and know that we are very, very serious. But for now, I think they're laughing at us seriously.
All right, Doctor, thank you for being there. We continue with another issue. There is an allegation by a former local government chairman that the governors of the states are crippling the local government, especially in terms of resources. And we know that recently President Tinubu instructed and have been practicing that revenue to local government should be given to them directly. So to what extent is this assertion true?
Well, for them to cry, I mean, some research was done on that. If it is truly happening, then one needs to reconsider, what is the point of paying directly to the local government. Before, the issue was blamed on the joint account, which the federal allocation was being paid into, and which the state was controlling. So the states what states do is just to control the money as the local government chairman. Okay, or what is your staff role, payment role? Give them overheads and keep the rest of the money. But since it's now been transferred directly to the local government, a lot of state governors are still holding on. But there are some state governments, for example, I think in Enugu State, Governor Peter Mba, from the sources I have, allows the people to run their money. But I think what they just did was, okay, let's do some joint projects. The state funds this percentage, you should fund this percentage. And that is a very good model that can be adopted by other state governors, where you can ask, okay, let's have a partnership where we can fund from the money you have been given and this, instead of still frustrating the process. A lot of governors are frustrating the process from the local government receiving the money directly. You don't need that in the 21st century. So the Enugu model can work for any of the states. Look, bring projects, sit down, discuss the local government chairman, and then fund it by counterpart funding or whatever, and that will make the money into judicious use.
Now, the argument actually is that because these local government chairmen are proteges of the governors, by that I mean there is no serious election. It's a question of selecting people who should go and rule the local government, and usually from the principal, the governor. So he tells them what to do. So how do we break this cycle?
Well, for now, it's not only the local government. Even the legislature has been captured in so many other states. So we are still where we are. So it's a state capture, and it is something that has been going on, with us. So it's there for us. That is our reality. We cannot be wishing it away. For now, that is our political reality. That is where we are. The executive, the constitution gives the executive so much power, and they're in control of so many things. A lot of the legislature in many of the states are just mere, in mere existence. Even the National Assembly, we have seen that a lot of it is a rubber stamp approach. So that is our political reality. Unfortunately, there's nothing we are doing about it for now.
Okay, Dr. Ambrose, just as Uzo rightly said that sometimes that the local government chairmen are being appointed or selected by the state government. So don't you think like the local government chairmen receiving their allocations directly is going to bring some, checks and balancing within the state government and the local government chairman?
Well, for now, it's not. Look, a lot of local government chairmen are actually receiving monies directly into the account now, directly from the federal, account, and it has not changed much in most of the states, apart from few states like Enugu I've mentioned. Others, like I think Lagos also have some level of that kind of independence. Apart from those few, I don't think many of the governors just want to hold tight. And as you said, well, most of local government chairmen in many states are just they are just like appointees. So they're always defer to the governor when they give it. So they're run by instructions most of the time. There is no autonomy of the of this local government in many states, as we know autonomy to be political autonomy. We are where we are, and as I said earlier, that's our political reality.
And now let's move to another issue. This one affects everyone really because it's about petrol prices. The fact that we've had a 207% surge in the import of petrol products and amid local production. We know that Dangote is producing, local refining is ongoing, and we also hear that the price of gas, we all know it's fluctuating. There's a lot of uncertainty in the system today. What are your thoughts about our ability as a country to stabilize issues in this time, especially now that we know marketers are saying something else, DMOs and Dangote, they are preventing him from lifting things. The federal government is intervening. How do we make sense of all of this?
Cannot make sense of it. In fact, it defies logic. So I don't think anybody can make sense of it, of the fact that we are an oil producing nation. We export oil. We're an integral part of Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC. Where the first oil was discovered in this country in 1956, I think, in Lolobiri. We have had our national oil company since, I think, 1978. That's almost 48 years ago. And we are still here. We are the only OPEC nation that does not refine its own petroleum products for local consumption. So it defies logic that we export fuel, petroleum, crude oil, then instead of running the petroleum product, refining it here for local consumption, we go out again, import refined products at international cost price and ask our people to subject our people to buying it at international prices. And when the government say, "Oh, I failed, let me give you subsidy to switch what you have," somebody came and removed the subsidy and told us that it's international price that will determine it. And some people are defending this evil. For me, it's an economic evil that your people cannot enjoy the wealth that comes from their land. And so it defies logic. If you tell me to explain, I cannot explain it because it defies explanation. And in the 21st century, all the countries that are, oil producing nations, and their people are basking in prosperity. But we are here in the backwaters of poverty because our governments have refused to build the refineries and refused to maintain the refineries and importing refined products. And the Dangote that are producing so they are trying to suffocate him. It's a sad reality that we live. That every Nigerian should weep for this country.
Dr. Ambrose, it's very important for us to factor this in. You might say it's a different issue, but we have reported that banks are struggling with a lot of liquidity presently. There's a lot of money circulating in the system at this time. And it is linked to election funding. People are releasing lots of funds, maybe hoarded monies everywhere. But the average Nigerian can't even find fuel to run day-to-day activities. You, of course, said it defies logic, but I do know that there must be a way to find a path forward. Because we have the 2027 election just some months down the line. How do we begin to ensure that the welfare of Nigerians, just like we know, reforms are not matching up with the realities? We are told that reforms are happening, but we can't still feel it presently. What is the way forward for the average Nigerian who can't even find 2 meals a day?
The way forward is that we are going to continue in poverty. We are going to continue in suffering. We are going to continue in hopelessness. Because the average Nigerian citizen is not even ready to fight for good governance. The average Nigerian is, it's just meek. The average Nigerian does not protest. The average Nigerian just mumbles and fumbles. The average Nigerian is in love with his oppressors or her oppressor. So we are a people who also, our behavior of docility also defies logic. What we tolerate in this country, a lot of countries will not tolerate it. But we defend the people who make us suffer these things. We defend them. It's either they are from our ethnic group, or they are from our religion, or it's from our political party, or it is our time to rule, and the dividends are not coming down. My dear, there is no path forward. You said there's so much liquidity. That means inflation is going to go up.
Exactly.
Because already Naira is struggling. Yes. So Naira is struggling with value. So we don't have values. We don't have anything. So we have plenty cash circulating, but less value. So the next thing now, they will unleash forex on us, and all things will start happening. So it's unfortunate, but that is where we are. And for me, I look forward. There is no bright light anywhere. There's no light in the end of the tunnel. The tunnel is pitch dark.
Dr. Ambrose, now having just Dangote in the country refining and also selling crude products or petroleum products, don't you think the country is going to be at risk someday when Dangote stopped, refining? And don't you think this is the right time for the Nigerian government to, look into our refineries and fix them to a proper shape, so that if both the average Nigerians could actually enjoy the dividends of the country?
I think we should just stop trying to fool ourselves. The government is not interested in fixing the refineries. The refineries stopped working in the 90s. Until now, 30 years on, they are not interested in fixing it. I don't know why we keep talking about this. The citizens are not reacting. They are making sure.
What would be the reason why they are, being hard on fixing the refineries?
Well, I just think, just like what Mr. Dangote said one time when they were trying to frustrate his company, he said, well, that he will start, that there are some individuals that own refineries in Malta and some other places. Some cabals, some powerful men, some powerful people have made sure the refineries are not working. There's a lot of slush money made from importation of refined products. We remember the issues of subsidy. We remember the issues of fake subsidy, people just putting in papers, collecting money. We remember the issues of ships just sailing from Lagos, go around the coast, come back and say they have sold fuel. Issue. So there's a big syndicate ensuring that our petroleum products are not refined here, because there's a lot of slush funds being made from it. So it's not working. It's not working. And in fact, government can fix it if they want, but all the governments, not just this government, all the successive government from Abacha time to Abdul Salami to Obasanjo to everybody, they refused to make it work. There was a time Obasanjo sold the refineries to some foreign interests, I think Korea or something. And then when Yar'Adua entered, he reversed the sale. And so we are stuck where we are. But again, as I said, the citizens are there. They are paying the cost, but they are not complaining.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Ambrose. It's been very wonderful with you this morning. That should do it for our analysis of the headlines in the papers. We hope to have you often and again on this platform. Thank you for being there.
Thank you.
Thank you. So enjoy the rest of your day, Dr. Ambrose.
Have a beautiful day.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
We impose extra burden on the masses. I feel your pain.
Only humility will lead us to unity, and unity will lead us to peace.
Go to the market and sell your products.
world record. Martinelli goes, boys out of his goal. Martinelli could be in here. This will be 3 for Arsenal.
Dott Entertainment, your weekly dose of pure fun, airing every Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Saturdays, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Only on Dott TV.
In the heart of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News are your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them.
This is your station. This is Dott TV. Dott TV. Dott TV. Dott TV. Dott TV. Dott TV.
Dott TV, the heart of the matter.
In the heart of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News are your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them.
Organization, in conjunction with the Delta State Ministry of Information, presents the Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2.0. Theme: the broadcast media as a democratic catalyst, shaping public trust and electoral credibility in 2027. Keynote speaker, Sheun Okinbaloye. Anchor, Politics Today on Channels Television. Guest speakers, Ayo Mairo Essay. Anchor, Arise News. Agatha Amata. CEO, Trend FM, Samuel Fejoku, veteran broadcaster and senior special assistant to the governor on protocol. Guest of honor, Honorable Charles Ehiedu Aniagu, Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information, and Right Honorable Imomotimi Dennis Guo. Speaker, Delta State House of Assembly. Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff F.O. Oborewori, the Executive Governor of Delta State. Convener, Media Personality, Ruki Onoro. Date, August 14, 2026. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, Unity Hall, Government House, Asaba. There'll be high-level networking, media interaction, capacity building, awards, and lots more. Register to attend on www.deltabroadcastmediaconference.org. For inquiries, call 0706 701 8400 0803 874 9265. Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2.0, powered by Delta State Government. Sponsors Dominion Pearl Homes and One Niger app. Supported by NTA, DBS, Quest FM and TV, Warri Sentinel, Trend FM, Mega FM, Baramatu Voice, Oko FM, Crown FM, Sleek FM, Eku FM, Big Heart Radio, Cruise FM, Atlantic TV, Rise FM, and Dott TV.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Yes, welcome back. And from that green picture we painted of our country, how things are going, we are shifting to a softer and much more pleasurable ground. It's time for sports update. And of course, we know that for the past 1 month, the world was at its feet. We're watching the World Cup, and yesterday it came to a pleasurable end for some, and of course, a very sad end for some. Anthony Uche is already in the studio to paint the picture better. Anthony, how are you?
I'm doing very
Hello,
well.
Anthony.
Yeah,
Good
so-
morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. Well, sorry, forgive me. Buenos dias. Buenos dias.
Buenos
because
dias.
That is the language of the champions of the world, honestly.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
well, I feel
Interesting.
Spanish today, and I think
Okay.
Spain has saved football. If you
Yeah,
ask me.
yeah, yeah. They did,
Yeah.
they
They
did
have
well.
saved
Yes.
football.
Yes.
Please tell us
I'll,
about
I'll
it.
tell you about that. But well, Spain, like I said, the second World Cup title ever.
Yeah.
And they did it yesterday at New York, New Jersey Stadium there in the United States of America, defeating Argentina in the process. Well, I said Spain saved football. You didn't need to, if you just saw the game, you would understand what I mean by Spain saved football.
Yeah.
You remember the first half of the game between England and Argentina, 19 fouls, only 3 shots, a lot of fighting between the two teams. That was the same method that Argentina took to the game yesterday. But unfortunately, like I told the people here on Friday, it does not work with Spain because
Yeah.
all they know how to do is to play football.
To seize the ball.
Yes.
To seize the
They are
ball.
not there to fight with you. So whatever you do against them will eventually get you carded, and them they'll just be quiet, going about their business. And that was exactly what they did yesterday, or in the early hours of this morning, because the game went on into extra time.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, the game proper, like I said, very, very uninteresting start to the game. Too many fouls, too many tackles. It looked like only one team wanted to play football, the other one wanted to kick the other one out of the field, and it was very odious. And that was the rhythm of the game for a long time. Spain created a lot of the chances. Like I said, the game went into extra time, but that should never have been the case if not for a certain Emiliano Martinez in the goal of Argentina. Made 10 saves at the time, he eventually conceded, and that was the highest ever by any goalkeeper in a World Cup final. So
Wow.
just to show you how much pressure Argentina
was
were
on
put
the
under,
Argentinians.
on the day. Well, and of course, when the game now eventually went into extra time, but just before extra time, Argentina got a man sent off. Enzo Fernandez, who scored that equalizing goal against England in the
England.
semi-finals, ultimately became a problem for his nation, and he got sent off, as you can see on the screen, for a second yellow card offense, which in my opinion was even bad enough to be a straight red card because of the force with which he went into that young man on the floor.
Yeah.
Pau Kubasi, just 17 years old, a Barcelona centre back, and he went into him with so much force. The boy flipped in the air like twice before he landed on his back. And I think that was strong enough to be a red card in my opinion, but because he was already walking a tightrope on a yellow, he got the second one. And Argentina were reduced to 10 men, so they had to play the rest of the game, that is all of extra time, with 10 men. And they were duly punished eventually when a certain Ferran Torres, who came on, of course, as a sub, scored the winning goal. And Ferran Torres' story is quite amazing, quite funny. You remember the first game against Cape Verde, where he was criticizing not just him, but the team as a whole for for lacking that the finishing
That
touch.
bite.
Yes, to bite and finish off chances. And he was one of the most culpable players. In that game, failed to convert a few of his chances, including a one-on-one with Vazinho on a couple of occasions. But yesterday, he made sure he salvaged himself and his reputation by scoring the only goal that led to Spain winning their second ever World Cup title 16 years after they did so right here in Africa, in South Africa.
South Africa.
And for the rest of the game, it was Argentina now finally trying to wake up. Mind you, ladies and gentlemen, for about 95 minutes of the game, perhaps the full 90 minutes, and then the first half of the extra time, Argentina registered no shot.
No shot on goal.
I'm not talking about a shot on target. No shot. They didn't even kick the ball in anger towards the Spanish goal. That is to show you how much control Spain had over the game. Argentina did not make it easy for themselves because they came there solely, like I said, to disrupt the flow of Spain, not to play their own game. And on top of that, Spain took the ball from them for as much as they could. And I think if you saw the statistics of the game, you saw the possession, it was not relevant. It didn't show the dominance that Spain had. When I mean possession numbers,
what was on the chart?
It was about 45 for Argentina and 50 and 55.
I watched the match.
45 Argentina, 50 for Spain, and then 5% of the ball was in contest. But if you watch the game, it felt like the margin, the margin was wider than that because Spain looked in charge from start to finish. From the first kick of the ball to the end. And like I said, up until they eventually considered and they, did what they call the fireman approach, Argentina hardly had any kick of the ball really in the Spanish half. And that was the story of the game. Absolute dominance from Spain. Spain has now won 3 European Championships and 2 World Cups in the last 16 years.
So you would say that Spain came to win?
Of course.
That's what they did. They came to
It didn't look
every good team came to win.
It didn't look so from the group stages. It looked like they were just there to make up the numbers.
It's their
But as
first
the
game.
tournament, but as the tournament progressed,
as it progresses, they saw the need.
They became. I mean, they're not the favorite is France out.
Yes.
In my opinion. The favorite is going into the tournament.
That was the high point.
Yes, I think that was the moment of realization.
Yeah.
For everybody else, not for the players.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of those players already knew how good they were. I mean, these people are defending champions. They're European champions. In 2024, they won the European Championships. And that, alongside the World Cup, Copa America, and AFCON, are some of the most difficult international tournaments you can play. So they come here knowing they were some sort of
contenders.
Good. Yes. At least within them.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the world, I think the defeat to France, and not just the defeat that they inflicted on France, it was the nature of the defeat.
The manner.
They controlled the game as well against France from start to finish. So I think that was where the rest of the world realized. The rest of the world kind of said, okay, we have to take Spain seriously. But I think a lot of them in that team, based on the way the coach Luis de la Fuente has been, sounded in press conferences, the way the captain Rodri has been sounded in press conferences, I think a lot of them in that team knew how good they were. They knew what they stood to, what the history they stood to make, and they've done it again. Like I said, the last time they won the World Cup in 2010, 2008, they won the Euros. Won the World Cup in 2010, won the Euros in 2012. They've not won the Euros in 2024, won the World Cup in 2026.
So it's
one step to the other.
That's how, whenever they dominate, they just sweep it. And then that's what the thing they say about generations in football.
Yeah.
Spain epitomizes that generation. You
Yeah.
remember the
Their
generation?
golden age.
Yes, that generation of
Iniesta,
Xavi,
Xavi.
Busquets,
Yeah.
Xabi
They were
Alonso, up front, David Villa.
They
a lot
keep
of them.
building the
I-
football generation.
Under Vincente de Bosque, they build that generation. The peak of the powers of generation, they win 3 international trophies. They declined because remember they got knocked out in 2014. They got knocked out of the group stages of the World Cup.
Yes.
They got beat by Netherlands by 4-1, quite embarrassingly. So they suffered that. They went back, rebuilt again. Now this generation I think has matured, and this one will probably go on for
Will
a lot
endure.
longer.
Yeah,
Yes.
because you can see
You see
Kubasi.
the age.
Yeah,
Yes,
they have
Kubasi
more
is 17.
more
Lamine
younger
Yamal,
players.
19. A lot of the players in that squad, very young.
Very
The
young.
oldest player in the squad, I think, is even the captain, Rodri.
Yeah, Rodri.
And he's the only one who is above 30. Alex Bayana, 27. A lot of those players will be here for at least 5 more years, 6 more years. And that only spells doom for a lot of the other countries who are going to go into competition with Spain.
Yes.
And you know the thing about Spain? The pattern never changes. It is the same. They just seize the ball, stifle the ball, take the life out of the opposition, and then they bite when they see the opportunity. And that is embedded in every Spanish. I'm going to say it to you right now. If you go over to Madrid, Catalonia, Villarreal, anywhere you want to go, you most likely see the same pattern of football.
Football in Spain, that's right.
If you see 50 pitches in Spain,
Yes.
if you have a drone image of 50 pitches in Spain at the same time, kids playing football, they most likely be playing the same thing.
Same pattern.
Anthony,
Tiki-taka.
just give us
Yes.
a roundup because you've brought a lot of exciting moments, down times. During this World Cup, we also saw someone died, and one of the players from South Africa died.
Just over a week ago.
Yes, and then at some point you told us about what was going on with the US at the time when FIFA made a decision that baffled everyone, the entire world. So can you bring it all together now that you have seen the end?
The takeaways.
Not just
Takeaways
the
from the World
player
Cup.
actually died, a
yes.
referee also died as well.
No, the referee was denied entrance
Yes,
into
he
the
was.
United States. It's not like he died. That was Omar Atan from from Sudan in Africa.
No, that one
okay.
was
Retired
accused of
The one that was accused of rape,
Yeah,
yes,
that was-
also
Well,
died.
it was not. Yeah, well, it was not.
But it was not in the World Cup.
Would you
Yes,
say
it was
that
not.
there's been a lot of intrigue? So
Yeah.
want to hear
Yes.
your...
just the takeaways from
Yeah,
the, from
well,
the
for
World
me,
Cup.
I will say it. I've said it even before the tournament kicked off. I said it during the tournament, and now that the tournament is ended, I think this is a very poor imitation of what a World Cup should be like.
Oh, okay.
Regardless
from
of what
the point of
happens
view of
on the field, off the field, political interference. FIFA's rule
Yeah,
has always
violated.
they've always hammered on it. FIFA themselves have always hammered on it. Politics should not interfere
with
with
football.
football. It happened to Nigeria. Nigeria got punished for
Yes.
political interference during the military regimes
Yes,
back in the days.
I think it was the time of Abacha.
Yes, it has also happened to many other countries where politics gets involved. The nations get struck out of any tournament that they're in. They get suspended from FIFA
South Africa
membership.
also suffered it.
Exactly, during the apartheid system. There were so many things that... But the fact that a politician, not just any politician, the president of the United States of America made a call to his friend, Gianni Infantino. He was the FIFA president.
What type of friendship
And
was
somebody's
that?
red card was suspended.
Was suspended.
And he was that has never happened in the
Was
history of the
unbanned,
game. Say whatever you want to say again about the likes of Sepp Blatter and other football administrators before this. They did not joke
stuck
with
to
the laws
rule.
of the game.
They stuck to the rule.
They can do whatever they want to do in terms of,
money.
They've been taken to court for, money laundering, for stuff like money laundering, bribery, and, favoritism. But you see, when it comes to the rules of the game, it is sacrosanct.
And also, when a referee has taken a decision on the pitch,
It is absolute.
it is there.
Whatever
you
is
can
going to
punish
happen
the referee, but you don't revert
retrospectively,
the.
whatever is going to happen retrospectively will be a punishment to the referee. But
Yeah.
you see the decision the referee has made, and he's made the match report, it will absolutely stand. That is one of the problems we're having now in North Africa, where Morocco and Senegal, that
yes,
final.
yeah.
The fact that John Jack Ndala, the referee, awarded the penalty, Senegal did whatever they wanted to do, the referee still awarded that the game will go on, was the reason why the whole problems that came out of that game came. Because if the referee has also decided that the moment those Senegalese players walked off the field,
they've lost the game.
Yes, he decided that will stand. So whatever the referee decides should stand. However you feel about it, however somebody else who's powerful feels about it, the rules of the game
for another
are
day.
sacrosanct. So for that to have happened, he put a call across to his friend Gianni and his friend Gianni. And news
I don't
later
know you are calling them friends now.
That's what they call themselves. Did you see how they were touching on hugging themselves yesterday?
But they should.
On the podium.
It's their host. And
That's what I'm
this
saying.
one is
And
the
there's
head
a
of
spirit
football.
around football as well.
Yes, there's this cordiality
Yes, of
and
course. No, of course.
cordiality.
You have to be
Yeah.
friendly to be able to. I mean, somebody invented an award, the Nobel Peace Prize award that never existed, again, just to give it to Donald Trump. There's so many things that has gone on in this World Cup, but the peak of it, in my opinion, is the one where you can do whatever you want to do politically. The situation between the US and Iran no longer being able to stay in the US, having to stay, in Mexico, Tijuana, and fly in just 24 hours to their game, and as soon as the games are over, they get kicked out of the United. All of that dirty stuff.
It didn't make sense.
It didn't make any sense. It made a very poor, it was a very poor touch on what is supposed to be a uniting factor between so many countries in the world coming together to play.
I've made a big statement. If America was able to quietly admit them, they play their game, they leave.
Go home.
It has nothing to do with international.
And you can also argue that affected Iran on the pitch because they eventually got eliminated because of goals difference.
Yeah.
They finished with 3 points from 3 draws in their group stage. They didn't lose any game in the World Cup. 3 points, 3 games from the group stage. But because of the inferior goals difference,
that was insufficient.
Yes, that they had to be knocked out. So they could have probably said we should have got at least a victory, if not for the way we were being treated. And like I said, a lot
and
of
they
these
wouldn't
things,
feel safe.
Yes, a lot of these
in their
things.
psyche.
But the biggest of it, in my opinion, all of these other things I just said happened outside the pitch.
Yes,
these are the things that happen before the ball gets kicked, before the referee's whistle sounds. But the fact that this one happened on the pitch. The fact that Balogun had to play.
On banning a red card.
Yes, the fact that Balogun had to play. And just look at the Belgians after that game. They were so happy they knocked the United States out. Because they know what they had done.
The final.
They know what they had done.
The world was supporting them psychologically.
They know what they had done for
the voice of the people.
For world football.
Yes, for the sake of this game. I mean, Gianni Infantino and those guys at the top of FIFA, they won't admit it, but I know they were very relieved when Belgium defeated America because the avalanche of criticisms that was going to come out if America had beaten Belgium and perhaps Balogun scored in that game.
It would have set a bad precedent.
Yes, there's this aspect I want us to look at before we let you go.
International football.
All the goats, all the star boys, they cried.
Oh my.
And then, of course, Rodri emerged. One would have thought that at least the MVP should have been given to Lionel Messi. What happened?
One of the headlines just to button even said, "No Messi for Messi."
For Messi, yeah.
And we know he's
now,
Messi.
all the goods,
So no
Cristiano
Messi for
Ronaldo,
Messi.
Mbappe.
How did we get to this
what's
one?
his name? Messi.
Yes.
All left crying. What does that say of this year's World Cup?
That's the sport. That's the sport.
You win some,
you lose some.
Yes.
That's what football is.
And there's a time to quit.
And, and all of these people that you mentioned now, Ronaldo, Messi, especially the two of them. I mean, we know the two of them are heads and shoulders above everybody else. But okay, Kylian Mbappe as well. They've also had moments where they smiled.
Yes.
Mbappe 2018 as a teenager winning the World Cup. That is the pinnacle of his
career
career so far. Lionel Messi 2022. Cristiano Ronaldo Euros 2016. That is just the game. You win some, you are happy. You lose some, you cry, and that is it. You move on. That's what I'm talking about football.
Because every
in
game,
2 weeks,
yes.
in 2 weeks, Messi is probably going to be playing again for Inter Miami. MLS has resumed.
Of course.
So in a couple of weeks, after all these tears and all of this
life goes on.
That's what football
Every
is.
competition has winners and losers.
But when you talked about Rodri, for the individual, I mean, the picture was showed there as well. The individual honors. Rodri, like you said, MVP, Paul Kobasi, best young player, Unai Simon, best goalkeeper of the tournament. Messi finished second on the MVP award list. Kylian Mbappe finished third with the bronze ball for the third best player of the tournament. I think it was absolutely deserved.
Who got the golden boot?
The golden boot was Mbappe with 10
Mbappe,
goals.
because
he
of his
scored
goals.
two goals on Saturday against England.
But he was not there to receive the...
No. He wouldn't even want it. Do you remember 2022 final where France lost the final and he won the Player of the Tournament award? He won the Golden Boot award. He almost threw it away.
Okay.
It will be delivered.
They should discipline him for that.
Have you not seen players who receive silver medals and they take it off on the podium as well? It's a normal. As long as you do not go overboard with it, maybe try to push somebody or try to fight. That is absolutely fine.
I remember there was a tournament in the English League. I think it was where Chelsea came second and got a silver, bronze, and Mourinho threw it to the crowd.
Yes, he said he doesn't keep losers' medals. That's what he called it. He always said he either wins gold or every other thing doesn't matter.
Footballers need a lot of psychological help to manage the emotions.
Some of them are actually
Maverick
because their emotion is not under their feet.
Because a lot of people feel the more you start to condone losses and
defeats,
it becomes
so try and keep losses away from your body and your mind.
You're already aiming for the winning. You're already aiming to win. So why accepting, loss?
Yes, exactly. So and that's
you don't settle for less.
But that's for the elite class of people. Like you just said now, Mourinho did that. Not a lot of coaches can boast of what Mourinho has boasted of. A lot of coaches will say, "I'll take this. I'll take it as a motivation."
Upgrade is better than Ramnos.
Exactly. I mean, yesterday, Harry Kane, the England captain, posted a picture of him with the bronze medal, on social media, and saying of how well they've done to come down. For a lot of players, you won't even see them talk about that medal. If you won't even see.
But for me, that's humility.
I told you that Kylian Mbappe received in 2022 received his Golden Boots award for the highest goal scorer of the tournament, and he looked the most dejected ever player on the scene. He looked like somebody who had just received a sack letter. Instead of somebody who received an award for being the highest goal scorer, at the World Cup. So I think it's a mentality stuff. The more you want to win, and that's the thing, the ones who win in football, they stay winners.
I know.
Yes.
So and in order to harvest that mentality or culture of being winners, you cannot
don't
tolerate
accept
any loss.
anything
You don't tolerate, no matter by how close. I mean, we're talking about England. They're talking about a lot of people in England asking for Thomas Tuchel to go, the coach of the English national team, to go for coming third at the World Cup. How many African nations will come to at the World Cup and
And
they
they will
declare
not
public
celebrate.
holiday?
All
They will
right.
declare public holiday as a result
Before we
of
let
this
you go,
World
is there
Cup.
anything happening in other areas? Because we know now
Yeah.
football has closed for now, but of course, in a
Well-
question of weeks now, say about a month, we'll be back with the separate leagues. But
Yes.
what other things are happening?
Well-
What can we hold on to
Yes,
in this, this
a lot
1
of
month?
A lot of the things in the world change, but one thing remains permanent, and that is Chelsea being able to splash the cash.
Okay.
Because over the weekend, as we were watching the World Cup and preparing for England versus France, the news broke
Chelsea
that
was spending money.
was spending over 116 million pounds on a certain Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa, who
Mm.
was also at this World Cup.
Yeah.
And Chelsea, like I said, splashed the cash again for the first time this summer in a big way. They've also signed a left back Marco Pallistri from Atalanta in Italy, but this time around in a big way, making a big statement. They splashed over 160 million pounds to secure or to agree a deal with Aston Villa for their attacking midfielder Morgan Rogers, who will now, after the World Cup has ended, England landed yesterday in Birmingham to after the World Cup, which means the young man will probably be at Chelsea, at Chelsea this morning or later in the week to complete his medical, and I think that move will eventually be completed. So for that side, Chelsea, yes, moving. And Manchester United over the weekend on Saturday played their first preseason game against Wrexham in Finland, which they lost by a single goal to nil, but it's just a friendly. Don't read too much into it.
All right, that's how we are going to end it today. But we want to see. There are people who like sports like wrestling, boxing. So do we have hope of having such now that football is a little quiet?
Yes, of course. Talking about boxing, that's actually on cue because next Saturday, the 27th or 25th of this month, Anthony Joshua, our own Anthony Joshua, will make his first comeback to the ring after that horrendous incident that happened towards the end of last year where he lost a couple of his friends. Yes, so he will be returning to the ring for the first time this coming weekend on Saturday against Justin Pringa in what is a preparatory fight. But that guy, Justin Pringa, is not somebody you take off for a preparatory fight. So I'll just take this as a serious fight. Other than look at it as a preparatory fight, just look at it as any other fight or any other bout in the world of boxing. And I just can't wait to see Anthony Joshua. I just want to see the shape of the man, the mentality where he is mentally after all of the
trauma.
Yes, exactly, after all the loss that he suffered. And this one is in the big preparation of the one we expect towards the end of the year between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. The fight that a lot of British boxing fans and even people outside of Britain have been waiting for to happen. It's going to happen. We've already confirmed that they've signed on the dotted lines, but Anthony Joshua is now trying to fight and then get ring fit for the big one, which I think will come up around November, December this year.
All right, thank you, Tony. Thank you, Tony, for being there. Of course, success and Ify, thank you for being with me. And of course, we continue with the program when we come back. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
The Delta Broadcast Media Organization, in conjunction with the Delta State Ministry of Information, presents the Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2.0. Theme: The Broadcast Media as a Democratic Catalyst, Shaping Public Trust and Electoral Credibility in 2027. Keynote speaker, Sheon Okimbaloye. Anchor, Politics Today on Channels Television. Guest speakers, Ayo Mairo Essay. Anchor, Arise News. Agatha Amata. CEO, Trend FM, Samuel Fejoku, veteran broadcaster and senior special assistant to the governor on protocol. Guest of honor, Honorable Charles Ehiedu Aniagu, Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information, and Right Honorable Imomotimi Dennis Guo. Speaker, Delta State House of Assembly. Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff F.O. Oborewori, the Executive Governor of Delta State. Convener, Media Personality, Ruki Onoro. Date, August 14, 2026. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, Unity Hall, Government House, Asaba. There'll be high-level networking, media interaction, capacity building, awards, and lots more. Register to attend on www.deltabroadcastmediaconference.org. For inquiries, call 0706 701 8400 0803 874 9265. Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2.0, powered by Delta State Government. Sponsors, Dominion Pearl Homes and One Niger app. Supported by NTA, DBS, Quest FM and TV, Warri Sentinel, Trend FM, Mega FM, Baramatu Voice, Oko FM, Crown FM, Sleek FM, Eku FM, Big Heart Radio, Cruise FM, Atlantic TV, Rise FM, and Dott TV.
Dott Entertainment, your weekly dose of pure fun, airing every Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Saturdays, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. only on Dott TV.
Welcome back. Trust you are getting along with us this morning on Morning Dew. Of course, we are relaxing further as we move over to entertainment gist. Kira Eke is in the studio. How are you today?
I'm all right.
I like your earrings, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, nice.
Hi.
They are statements.
Yes.
Yes.
Very entertaining.
How do you feel this school morning?
Good. I don't think school is still in session, is it?
No, cool
No,
morning.
no, cool.
Yeah.
Morning school.
Oh, yes, it's actually cold. Not even
yes.
cold, but yes.
It's like this thing they say, old school. The actual thing is old is cool.
Okay, old the school.
Old is cool.
Okay, old
When
is
it is-
cool.
Yeah, but people say old school.
Oh, old is cool.
Yeah, old is
So
cool.
more like retro is cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So what do you have for
Very
us today?
interesting.
Well, quite a number of things happened over the weekend.
Okay.
And I just picked, very interesting stuff always happens.
I like that.
in my
This
world.
particular weekend came loaded.
Yeah.
Yes. But because of time, I just had to pick the more important ones.
Oh yeah, no.
So we're going to start it off for a quick rundown for over the weekend entertainment happenings. We'll start it for the fans of Big Brother Niger.
Awesome.
You all know the
Okay.
Big Brother Niger. So yes, so MultiChoice Nigeria, they have announced that the 2026 edition of Big Brother Niger will premiere on Sunday, July 26th. With contestants, they'll be competing for a record-breaking prize of 160 million naira. This prize package is actually the highest since the debut of the show in 2006, and it includes 100 million naira cash prize and a brand new SUV worth 60 million naira. Meanwhile, the auditions for this 11th season has already been held in Lagos, Abuja, and Enugu, and it was held on May 22 to 24th of this year. So the participation process was conducted for people that are 21 and above, and also for people that possess a valid means of identification. And on the other hand, of course, Ibuka Obi Uchendo has been unveiled as the show's host. He has always been the show's
He has
host
stood out.
since he didn't even win. He didn't win during his own, edition, but then he has always.
He has won in this area.
Actually, he has. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But still,
year on year.
Do you know how much they are paying you? You are saying it's a lot of money.
Well, technically, he looks good. He
Okay.
lives fine. So yeah, and he has never come out to complain about money.
About
So-
money. And other
Okay.
things, other
And
things.
he's
you
been
get
selling
enough-
He has other things. He has
Yes.
other things.
Yeah,
to
he
do.
has
Just
other
being
things,
on the
yes.
show is enough payment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
anyone.
Although he didn't win, but then I think he has won in life. In the show schools for that long.
Yeah.
But still on Big Brother Niger, this one is for Missy Eke.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I think you know what I was talking
Yes.
about. This is based on unrequited love. So former winner of the show, Missy Eke, has voiced her regrets for participating in the reality show. Mercy expressed her regret while speaking out about love experience and her inability to find a life partner since after the show. And she said this during an interview with Toke Makionwa, an emotional interview, if you ask me, because I feel like both are friends. Toke is Mercy's friend. So having her on her podcast was more of vulnerability, emotional,
A
stuff.
friendly interaction.
Yeah, it didn't even sound like a conversation, an interview. It was more of a conversation.
Yeah,
It was more
between
easy
friends.
breeze. They drifted into
So
it.
she was able to let
There
out
was
that
honesty.
inner part of her.
Yeah, she was soft, she was open. It was like girls having conversation, but this time around they're friends.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So in her own words, she said, I regret going to Big Brother, even though I love the benefits from it. I did fall in love like Mumu. Now I say to myself that I want to marry. I want to get married, but it's not easy. I've dated guys that I've given a lot of money to, not one, not two. But because they don't have it, but it still didn't work out, they sometimes take advantage of my kindness.
Why won't they?
Oh, what do you mean why would they?
Yeah, a lot of guys. a lot
Look
of
at it
guys
this
are
way.
out there.
What I find
Once
is
you're
that people who
given
They're
are
just desperados.
Once, yes,
Yes,
because
they are
Once you are
desperados
simplistic
out
and
there.
sincere,
Yes, they
people
take
tend to-
advantage of
yeah.
it.
But simplicity
They
and
feel that they
sincerity,
feel you're weak.
is that not the core foundation? At least one of the core foundation of finding a life partner.
No, but that's what
Let's
life
be
is all
honest.
about.
Yes.
Life is wicked.
Well, okay. Well,
And why?
that's not-
Yes.
Life is wicked and wild.
Given that she's already out there, a lot
Yeah.
of people will be coming to her
True,
for
true,
the benefit.
true.
So for people
For the
like
benefits
that,
and fun.
for people like that, it's usually someone who is above them.
It-
We saw what happened with Rita Dominic.
Yes.
So that's a classic case, but it only happens once in a lifetime.
Another classic case is Tiwa Savage and her leaked video. Apparently, that video was leaked by her boyfriend, then boyfriend.
Yes.
And she was that vulnerable to go to meet him, trust him, but still. The video was released based on a bet between the guy and his friends. And they actually told him that he can't do it and he had to do it. And for women like this now, society will still castigate them when they say, I don't want,
Stigma.
Yeah, the stigma is still
don't
there. Like,
know.
oh, you're 40, you're not a married woman. But you guys are not laying the ground foundation, teaching men.
Did you include me
It's
among
not
the
just
guys?
you.
Okay.
One man, one drop cannot make
I
an
thought you were
ocean.
addressing
Exactly.
me.
So I think that a
Because
person like
I'm married to
Messi-
one wife
a Messi
and
can-
condemned to one wife.
Messi can
So-
take a cue from Rita.
Yeah.
And just live.
Yes.
If she can just
Yes.
live, love will find her. She doesn't need to be the one going to find love
When the time
right
is
now.
right.
Because she said she has benefits. Let's have focus on the benefits she's gotten
From
from the
Big
show.
Brother Nigeria.
Yes, that's enough for now.
And develop a life from there and allow love finder.
She's been
That's it.
developing. She's a multi-millionaire.
So that's it.
Multi-millionaire, that woman. Anyway, away from Big Brother Nigeria, this is for Nigerian DJs right now because there's a conversation going on online right now when Nigerian disc jockey Otis Ayodeji, professionally known as Baddest DJ Timmy, during the weekend called out singer Timmy Dakolo via Instagram post over an alleged debt.
Oh.
The DJ explained that Dakolo had pleaded with him over a month ago for him to take down his earlier post about the debt, but with a promise to pay. DJ Timmy said Timmy Dakolo is yet to live up to his promise. The DJ also gave the singer a 3-day ultimatum to pay up his money or he'll be forced to leak his sexcapades.
That's a threat.
Sexcapades.
Why are they always,
Is it
why
a
are they
threat
always
or a
having
blackmail?
escapades?
There's sexcapades there.
That's what I'm
Did you get
saying.
serious?
But I
Okay.
see that as a
Now, what I
blackmail.
mean is, why,
Yeah.
why are they always having record of sex
Well, I don't know for
to
you.
leak?
Because people keep doing things on camera.
No, why?
Okay, so that's the evidence.
Yes,
on-
that's the
on
evidence.
the
Yes,
screen.
absolutely on the screen that he is owing him £4,107.
Pounds.
So, according to him, he said, if by Monday 20th the money doesn't hit our account, Get ready to explain your sexcapades to your wife and all your little adventures in Lagos.
Can you
Today
imagine?
is Friday, and Wednesday makes it 1 month exactly you begged me to archive my post. And still, Timi Dakolo hasn't paid us back. Meanwhile, reacting very letter, assigned by his lawyer, Dakolo this is a huge accusation. So Dakolo described the death claim as false and defamatory. He explained that the alleged £4,106 was tied to a proposed UK tour organized by Timmy, that's the DJ, and Revolve Entertainment that never took place. Timmy said that both parties have a written agreement which made the promoter responsible for covering the tour's production, travel, and logistics cost. Timi Dakolo also stated that he was not required to pay any deposit or reimburse those expenses. So, in essence, he's trying to say that.
That's his own side of the story. No debt.
Yeah, that he has no debt. And for someone to even say, I have something to leak, and to mention sex, he has already said a lot.
Yes.
Yes.
How did he get what he wants to leak? I keep asking, like, how did you get what you are threatening? Is it? I feel like it was a blackmail.
Yes,
It's
now,
a
normally it's
blackmail.
blackmail. By the
And
time
he
you
has
want
to
to leak,
mention that
it's blackmail.
specifically. You know, so we're
Any other story?
Oh yes, finally, my last
None of
story
the court
is
cases
my
involved.
last story today is on the foreign scene. I don't know if you know, but I feel like Dr. Ify
Okay, tell us about it.
Yes,
We might-
yes.
social media influencer Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan Tate. You guys know Andrew Tate?
Yes.
Good. Have been arrested in Miami as United Kingdom authorities seek their extradition over alleged fresh cases of rape, sex trafficking, and assault. The United States Marshal Service has confirmed the arrest of the brothers on Saturday, but they also declined to disclose the specific charges, citing a sealed arrest warrant. On the other hand, UK's Crown Prosecution Service, CPS, announced that Andrew Tate is facing 7 additional counts of rape, along with charges related to sex trafficking and possession of indecent images of a child. Tristan has been charged with 2 counts of rape and 3 counts of facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation. Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire police say the brothers now face a combined total of 59 criminal charges. The alleged offences are said to have occurred between July 2010 and August 2017. 38 new charges were authorized against the brothers, which means Andrew, who is 39 years old, is facing a total of 42 charges in UK. And Tristan, the 37-year-old brother, will face 17 charges. I don't know why I want to reduce it. You should face more. But in 2024, Bedfordshire police obtained a European arrest warrant to get Andrew and Tristan Tate, seeking for their return to UK from Romania, where they have been living. Also in June 2026, the brothers failed in their attempts to compel authorities to reveal the identities of their UK accusers after the Crown Prosecution Service ruled that the names of the alleged victims would remain confidential until formal legal proceedings begin. And that's it.
Thank you, Kyria. Whatever. This issue of sex everywhere.
Sex trafficking.
Leaking, sex trafficking, sexual harassment.
Especially
Has
with
it always been there, or is it
Especially
because of
with
social
artists.
media?
Last week, somebody raped a girl.
Yeah.
Allegedly raped the girl, and she had to take her own life. So he has always been there under
And the truth is that for everything that happens, human relationships, you find that is the height of damage that can be done to the opposite sex. So for everything anyone does, when it comes to that, it becomes news.
Okay.
Yes.
It's because of consent.
Yes, that's why the man in Timi Dakolo's case had to drag that into an otherwise civil issue that should be settled. Because you can get so once you mention that, you've already maligned the other person.
So you do blackmail with sex, you do
everything.
Assault with sex.
There's a saying I wanted to say, but I don't think it's good for television.
Okay, please don't say it. All right, thank you. You have said enough.
Yes.
Well, viewer, we'll continue with our program when we come back. Thank you for staying with us. Kira, thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
The Delta Broadcast Media Organization, in conjunction with the Delta State Ministry of Information, presents the Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2.0. Theme: The Broadcast Media as a Democratic Catalyst, Shaping Public Trust and Electoral Credibility in 2027. Keynote speaker, Sheon Okimbaloye. Anchor, Politics Today on Channels Television. Guest speakers, Ayo Mairo Essay. Anchor, Arise News. Agatha Amata, CEO, Trend FM. Samuel Fejoku, veteran broadcaster and senior special assistant to the governor on protocol. Guest of honor, Honorable Charles Ehiedu Aneagu, Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information. And Right Honorable Imomotimi Dennis Guo, Speaker, Delta State House of Assembly. Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff F.O. Oborewori, the Executive Governor of Delta State. Convener, Media Personality, Ruki Onoro. Date, August 14, 2026. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, Unity Hall, Government House, Asaba. There'll be high-level networking, media interaction, capacity building, awards, and lots more. Register to attend on www.deltabroadcastmediaconference.org. For inquiries, call 0706 701 8400 0803 874 9265. Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2.0, powered by Delta State Government. Sponsors Dominion Pearl Homes and One Niger app. Supported by NTA, DBS, Quest FM and TV, Warri Sentinel, Trend FM, Mega FM, Baramatu Voice, Oko FM, Crown FM, Sleek FM, Eku FM, Big Heart Radio, Cruise FM, Atlantic TV, Rise FM, and Dott TV.
Welcome back and thank you for sticking with us on Morning Dew. Of course, we are going straight to business update, and Louisa Asidi is here with our business crate. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was awesome.
Hello,
All right.
Louisa. Good to have you.
morning. Oh, good to have you.
Louisa,
Just-
you look great this morning on your red and black.
you.
Are you copying me?
So what's trending in business?
Okay.
Bring us up to speed.
No problem. Let's start with a number that hits closest to home. Food prices. Now, you may have heard that inflation actually eased slightly last month. The headline rate came down to just under 16%. But food inflation went the other way. It climbed to over 17%, and month to month, food prices jumped sharply. So if you've been to the market lately and felt like your money isn't going as far, you're not alone. Tomatoes, pepper, beef, gari, yam, your prices have risen across the country. The Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise says food remains the single biggest threat to household welfare right now. And here's their key point. This isn't really about interest rates. The CPPE says it's structural. It's caused by insecurity in farming communities, the cost of interstate transport, expensive fuel and fertilizer. In fact, food, transport, housing, and energy make up roughly 70% of the inflation we are all feeling. Their message to the government is clear. Don't raise interest rates again. Fix the farms, fix the roads, fix security. That's what actually brings down our food costs down. And that brings us to our second story, because the government may be listening, and the answer involves satellites. Nigeria has just signed a deal with Morocco to roll out an artificial intelligence crop monitoring system across 15 states. Here's how it works. Satellites photograph farmlands every 5 days. Then AI reads those images, maps out every single farm, identifies what's growing, and tracks how the crops are doing. In Morocco, this same technology predicts the national wheat harvest 3 months early with up to 95% accuracy. This is revolutionary because one of Nigeria's biggest problems is that the government simply does not know how crops are performing until they are out of the ground. That's how you end up with policy surprises and price shocks at the market. If officials can see a poor harvest coming months ahead, they can act early before it hits your pockets. And importantly, all the data stays on Nigerian servers under Nigerian control. It won't fix food prices overnight, but it's a real step towards planning our food future instead of reacting to it. And finally, if you are flying anywhere in Nigeria soon, this one's for you. The Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria is rolling out something called VPass, a facial recognition system for domestic flights. The idea is simple. You enroll once using your NIN and a quick face scan, and after that, your face is essentially your ID at the airport. Once you're registered, verification takes less than 30 seconds. Electronic gates, shorter queues, no fumbling for documents at every checkpoint. There's a security angle too. The system checks you twice, once before the restricted area and again at boarding, which makes impersonation and identity fraud much harder. Now, whenever facial recognition comes up, privacy is the big question. And FAAN says the system complies with Nigeria's data protection rules. A public awareness campaign is coming before the full rollout, so watch this space next time you are at the airport.
Interesting.
Well, wonderful.
Starting with food.
Food.
Yes.
Yes, that's where we're going.
I'll keep saying that the minutest.
Yes.
Everybody needs food.
Yes.
Before you begin to talk about everything else. And then we're seeing that the prices of food items, of course, we can testify in our separate homes. You did say that whenever women go to the market
and come back,
they always come out with
have
tales.
a story.
Yes, because the money is never enough.
Yeah.
Anymore. So where are we going with this? Of course, there's this about Morocco and Nigeria monitoring crops and all, but you also talked about handling all the indices, like tracking, managing insecurity and all of that. So how do all this determine how much we buy Gary at the market? You know, how does it play into the total cost of
You know, for now, they're not actually saying that the prices will change overnight, but at least with the satellite system, with what they're trying to work out, they would be able to track the growth of the crops and then identify everything that may be eaten into your profits before it actually happens. And that gives you a safer bet on, you know, how much gain you're going to get once the harvest comes up. So that, to me, is a better idea than just waiting for the crops alone.
This one that AI has entered into farming, I don't understand, because AI is artificial intelligence. Why is artificial intelligence doing everything for us now, even up to our farms, filming and projecting how the harvest is going to come? Because from what you are saying now, it's like profit. You are talking about profit for the farmer.
Yes.
What about the man who is going to consume? Are they not considering us in any way?
They are.
Because by the time you put AI, there will be charge also from AI.
I believe the government should be covering that.
Yeah, the government
perhaps
could.
Okay, kind of subsidy.
Yes,
Because if I have a farm and I need to invite you with your AI and your films to film my farm and tell me what is happening, am I not going to pay? Then after I paid all of them, I will transit them to the cost.
Before you know it, they'll say logistics.
Yeah, logistics. Well, it's Nigeria, first of all. But I feel like once that AI system actually starts and it's actually working, the farmers may get more gain.
Okay.
You know, for example, a farmer who's into the poultry farm, the person is thinking about, if it's broilers get sick really quickly.
Okay.
They don't
And
like
especially during the raining season.
Yes, especially during rainy season, and right now we're in the raining season. So if you have an AI system, you'll be able to track, okay, this is when the rain
what
is
do
gonna
I do to
come.
circumvent?
How you're going to make sure that no
Making
disease
sense.
Create a well
spreads, and then
environment
you
for the
end up
birds.
getting more profits than you had planned for.
I want you to emphasize on harvest.
Okay.
Better harvest.
Once you get a
Because
better
when you say
harvest,
profits, that means
oh, sorry,
we are the
sir.
ones to
Once you get a
brunt
better harvest, the
yeah.
farmers, once they get
Yeah.
a better harvest, they may not sell the goods to you at a very high cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they are gaining both ways.
Okay.
They gain more customers, they gain more harvest, more profit, and everything will be, I'll say,
A
a
bit
bright note,
easy.
easy for them.
But you did mention the indices like insecurity,
Yes,
transportation
insecurity,
costs. Now we know
transportation.
Those ones are not taken away
petrol,
by the filming now.
this uncertainty
Mm.
by the price of petrol.
Yes.
How's it playing into the cost of food?
You see, that price of petrol, like the Dangote refinery now, they are trying to sell out their fuel in dollar. Mind you, Nigeria doesn't
Buy in
deal
dollar.
in dollar. They deal
Of
in
course.
naira.
Naira
So
is a
that's
legal tender.
yes, that means the fuel price
It's
is
gonna
already
go
up. It's really gonna
You're
go
saying
up.
much more than what we have
Much
presently.
Of course,
more
it should.
than what we
Once
have now.
once you
It
revert to
may
dollar,
go up.
we're not playing again.
It's going up. So other than
Not
yes, we
within our
have
range.
an AI system that's going to help us, track everything. There are other things that could play out, like you said, the petrol price,
Because
transportation,
Yeah.
which it's also in the petrol price because you
Definitely.
can't transport without petrol.
yes,
Insecurity,
bad roads.
bad roads, and bad roads also tied to insecurity.
When you run on
Even
bad
if I
roads,
Even insecurity, when farmers are
much
not
of
safe in
wear
their
and
farms.
tear on your
farmers are
vehicles,
not safe in
and
their
that translates
farmlands.
to
And
transport fare.
Yes, if I want to delve a little, just about when the federal government is trying to see how they can regulate the petrol price over the filling station and all. And just now, we're trying to see how, the citizen can benefit or have a little relief of high cost of petrol price. And now Dangote is aiming to sell in dollar. What do you think? Or why is he doing this at this time?
He's a businessman. Let me
Thank you.
answer you.
He's a businessman.
You
Yes.
always talk business.
Actually taking
Yes,
the words
yes,
out of my
yes.
mouth. He's a businessman.
Because everybody has to look
Okay,
into
but-
what
yeah,
is
but-
going through to produce.
Yes,
Is it really
thank you.
ideal at this time?
It may not really be ideal, but he's a businessman. He's
Yeah.
a private
He
owner.
knows what
It's
he's going
not-
through to
It's
to
not
get
a government
get
owner.
the
He's a private owner.
product.
Like you said, he knows what he's going through to get the product. It's not really easy. So you don't expect him to say, oh, because I'm going through this and Nigeria is my country, let me just... No, he has to also get his own gain.
So
All right,
But he
on
can
the
actually
on the
wait
issue
for
of
a
flying,
little while
flying.
and say,
Let me
okay,
come to that. I
before
was
yes.
excited by that issue of flying,
On
where the check,
aviation.
the
yes,
the
your
check at
fan.
the airport, your face will now count. Because most of the times you find people buy tickets, sell the ticket off at the airport there, and then another person is flying with another person's ticket, maybe boarding
Yes.
pass.
Possible.
But they do that. But now, if I buy ticket, you screen my face, and you say I'm screened only once, and then that does it. So any airport I enter, my face is already registered,
Yes,
and
your
then
face is already registered.
it will not cost me any delay.
Yes, it won't
All
cost
right.
you any delay.
All right, we are making progress in this country, except
Yeah,
that
especially with
AI.
technology.
Except that
Yes.
AI is not dominating. I'm not comfortable with AI. It means artificial
Intelligent.
and anything artificial.
We are comfortable. We can rest easy because AI cannot work without
Yes,
really
without-
smart people.
yes,
Okay,
without smart
AI
people.
still works
All
with
we
people.
need to do is to get smarter.
Okay.
Smart.
so
It's all right.
we-
Thank
we
you,
can
Lisa, for coming.
manage AI.
Your pack today
Oh, thank you
was
very much for having
was
me.
good,
Good
but
to have
it's
you
just
back.
that we're having extra costs. That's
Yeah,
the body you have
I'm
left
so
with us.
worried. You left me worried because I don't even know when next I get to the market.
All right, that does
I
it.
don't
That
know
does it for
what's-
business
what to
update
find.
this
Thank
morning.
you.
What's
When we come back, we have a conversation. Stay with us. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
The Delta Broadcast Media Organization, in conjunction with the Delta State Ministry of Information, presents the Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2.0. Theme: The Broadcast Media as a Democratic Catalyst, Shaping Public Trust and Electoral Credibility in 2027. Keynote speaker, Sheon Okimbaloye. Anchor, Politics Today on Channels Television. Guest speakers, Ayo Mairo Essay. Anchor, Arise News. Agatha Amata, CEO, Trend FM. Samuel Fejoku, veteran broadcaster and senior special assistant to the governor on protocol. Guest of honor, Honorable Charles Ehiedu Aneagu, Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information. And Right Honorable Imomotimi Dennis Guo. Speaker, Delta State House of Assembly. Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff F.O. Oborewori, the Executive Governor of Delta State. Convener, Media Personality, Ruki Onoro. Date, August 14, 2026. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, Unity Hall, Government House, Asaba. There'll be high-level networking, media interaction, capacity building, awards, and lots more. Register to attend on www.deltabroadcastmediaconference.org. For inquiries, call 0706-701-8400, 0803-874-9265. Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2.0, powered by Delta State Government. Sponsors, Dominion Pearl Homes and One Niger app. Supported by NTA, DBS, Quest FM and TV, Warri Sentinel, Trend FM, Mega FM, Baramatu Voice, Oko FM, Crown FM, Sleek FM, Eku FM, Big Heart Radio, Cruise FM, Atlantic TV, Rise FM, and Dott TV. The Delta Broadcast Media Organization, in conjunction with the Delta State Ministry of Information,
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Yes, welcome back. And of course, we're shifting our conversation to the forest. The forest, we have been told, is a place of life and beginning. We're told by one of our resource persons, which we are bringing again, that the first forest was the Garden of Eden. And God gave an instruction to man. He said, dress it and keep it. Now, how we have been keeping our forests as a nation is our conversation this morning. And of course, that's why we have in the studio again, Dr. Dickens Dollar, who is a lecturer in the Department of Forestry, Delta State University, and of course, a professor of silviculture and sustainable forest management. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
Prof, welcome,
sir.
Yes.
Good to have you here, sir.
Success and Ify, they are still here with me to do justice to this. Yes, forest is an issue now. First of all, we have heard of deforestation. We have been hearing a lot being said about afforestation. And then, of course, the bush is now taken over by, they are now habitats to people who are troubling our lives. So a lot of attention is focusing on our forests. Let's start like this. Does the federal government of Nigeria have a program or a policy that manages our forests?
Yes, there have always been policies on sustainable forest management. The colonial masters actually created the Department of Forestry in the Ministry of Agriculture as far back as the later part of the 19th century, when the Department of Forestry was created in the Southern Protectorate and later on in the Northern Protectorate. By that time, the amalgamation of Nigeria had not taken place. So the forest protection, the forest management has always been with us. inherited from the colonial masters. Then, of course, the colonial masters were protecting the forest because they wanted valuable timber to export home. So it was actually in the interest of the colonial masters. Remember, the colonization across Africa and the Caribbean are to get produce for the home countries.
Yes.
So we've actually had a good forestry management plan handed to us by the colonial masters. After that, even before they left, the creation of the forest reserves and the national parks and the game reserves have already taken hold. Mind you, like I said, the first time we met here, the forest is meant to be exploited. But the problem is not, it's now that it is being unsustainably exploited.
Okay.
If talking about sustainable forest management, if you leave a piece of land, don't touch it, leave it for several years, the forest will regain its hold on the land. That's how magical forest is. So over the years, we have had policies from time to time. First of all, the Land Use Act of 1970, is it 78?
78.
Transferred the forest reserve within each state to the state governors, while the ones in the federal owned land is still maintained by the federal government. So we have national parks created, we have game reserves and forest reserves, as well as some other protected lands for endangered species. So they've always been policies to protect the forest.
We want to look at what is the content of
the targeting is harvesting sustainably.
Okay.
One of there was this boom in timber exploitation. Sapele ports and other parts of Nigeria were witnessing removal of trees from the forest. And when we harvest trees, we harvest what we refer to as the prime species, the irokos and the sapele wood and so on and so forth. So the federal government came up with a policy that instead of just taking the woods, the logs down in round form, why not process it so that some of our industries will be engaged and people will be employed. So there was a ban on importation of round wood. So that's one of the policies. Okay. Then besides the timber itself, we also have sales and trafficking in animal skin, even live animals.
No, live animals, we're talking about forest now.
Well, we cannot separate
in terms of trees.
We cannot separate them. Flora and fauna. Flora and fauna, we cannot separate them. So those are all part of the policies. There was a policy on ban on exportation or trafficking in wild animals. Even there are still plants that are being trafficked. So there was a ban on the trafficking of wild animals. And Nigeria is also a member of all forestry organizations and all treaties concerning forest conservation. We have always taken part in. But the problem is that how well have we managed the forests? There are policies on exportation of wood. Even if you are going to go to the forest to harvest trees, there are minimum tree diameters that you can harvest. You can harvest. Yeah. So those are policies to ensure that younger trees are not removed. Because sometimes when the pressure is so much, when you have removed all the mature ones, you now fall back on the smaller ones. And once you do that, you're beginning to have a steady decline in depletion of the forest.
Okay, so let's look at it this way. How can deforestation affect climate change, local communities, and biodiversity? And also, what are the 3 species that are important for reforestation projects in Nigeria?
Well, that question is, I don't know where to approach it from. But first of all, when you talk about deforestation, it actually means converting forested land to other uses. Even if we are going to stop, we talk about deforestation, one of the greatest deforestation is actually state creation.
Development.
When you created states, more capitals were created, and there was so much demand for
urbanization.
Urbanization, and so on and so forth. You have airports springing up, and then cities growing, and then as the population grows, the demand for even forest land, because the forest land is still the most fertile land. Farmers want to grab it at all costs so that they can have fertile lands to farm. Now, you talked about climate change.
Yes.
What is climate change? You have all these violent climatic activities because the weather is changing. Now, the very first issue of climate change is actually the effect of global warming. And what is global warming? The burning forest releases carbon dioxide. Burning forest product, like trees, releases carbon dioxide. And even your fossil fuel, petroleum, and so on and so forth, they release carbon dioxide. And like I told you earlier in the first meeting, the trees actually convert carbon dioxide in the air to starch and fiber. This fiber is in form of wood. So the forest is involved in what we call carbon sequestration.
Okay.
Traps the carbon in the fiber of the wood, both the leaves, the stem, and even the root.
Yes.
So it reduces the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So, like again, the carbon dioxide is an envelope around the earth. The sun rays can penetrate through the layer of carbon dioxide. When it gets to the earth, it gets heated up, and then it cannot escape because it's not trapped.
Yes.
It's like you park a car and wind up, and you leave a child inside. The temperature within the car is heated up. So the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and some other gases are like that transparent glass that allows sun to pass through, but heat cannot come out. So as the earth gets heated up, it affects so many things. First of all, the temperature begins to rise. And 1 degree temperature rise, you can imagine the effect on the ice cap.
Okay.
The ice, all those ice cap around the both part of and those cold other part of the earth begins to melt, and water begins to increase. And even with temperature increase, it forms increase in pressure around the ocean that causes all these catastrophic events.
And then more rains.
More rains.
Unusual.
Not just more rains, unusual. You now begin to see rains falling heavily in December. We know that we used to have dry season and rainy season. But sometimes this cycle changes because of violation, because of the use of misuse of carbon dioxide. I mean, forest trees and other consequences of human activities.
Now, when you were talking before, you talked about federal government ceding some forest to the states, and then now whatever, I don't know where you call federal government land now or federal government forest, because even Abuja is under a state. So which are the federal government forests? How do they define them?
Well, even the road safety was banned from state roads. So within the issue of the towns, we also have federal
That is a little clear. What about, so we have state forests and the
federal forests. Now, the federal forests are actually the national parks.
Okay.
The national parks are created to conserve both biodiversity, both animals and trees within the national parks.
Okay.
Whereas we also have game reserves now owned and managed by states. Okay. Those game reserves also have similar functions, but they are now managed by the states. But in the national parks,
is it just managed or owned by the states?
Owned by the states.
Okay.
At the national park level, you don't go in there and log. You don't go in there to do anything. You don't go in there to hunt. Okay. So it's actually more or less like
preservative.
And then side by side with preserving the environment, we also have what we call ecotourism.
Yes.
Okay. So you preserve animals like Kenya and some other East African countries earn so much money from tourists coming in there. But unfortunately, we know what's happening now. Banditry and kidnapping, they've practically taken over all those areas that are supposed to attract foreigners. It's supposed to be a place of solace.
Yeah, a sanctuary.
Sanctuary. You go there, live in the cities to go and relax.
Okay.
But now it's now a place of fear. Like I said, even we can't send our students who are supposed to have practical training
in the forest,
in forest management, in wild park management, and so on and so forth. That place now we cannot. Kanji Lake National Park now is almost a no-go area. We don't send students there. If we plan to send students there, the parents will troop to the school and tell you my children are not going there.
In an ideal situation, because we want to make this very realistic, you pointed out something germane to forest management and preservation, which, by the way, is our topic. The fact that our forests, whether federal or state, are now places where anyone can go in, non-state actors are found there, they've taken over. So ideally, who should be the forest managers, and to what extent, even now that we know how our forests are we enforcing the policies that Henry mentioned? Are we still enforcing that will regulate the exploitation of the forest and all?
The type of trees that you should fell.
The type of trees to fall.
And then who are forest managers now? We know we're talking of forest guards as well. Is forest guard the same as a forest manager?
No, the forest guard is actually employed as a policeman in the forest. He reports to the forest manager, who reports to the state director of forestry.
Okay.
So there's
a chain.
There's a chain.
Okay.
So what the forest guard actually does in its original conception is to ensure that trees are not those policies are and that they are followed.
They're not violated.
They're not violated. They protect the forest even against encroachment by farmers.
Okay.
Remember, you cannot have forest guard in a forest that is not reserved. Okay. Once that forest is reserved, even God Himself, when he chased Adam and Eve away, he put
a guard.
He put guards there.
A sword.
A guard with a flaming sword. So what the forest guard does is to ensure that there are no poaching, like in the national parks and the forest, the game reserves, to prevent from people from poaching, either for bush meat or for elephant tusk and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Mind you, some of those forest reserves themselves, at a particular time of the year, they allow hunting, because sometimes if you allow the animals to grow,
overstay their years,
they degrade the environment. So we have what we refer to as controlled hunting there.
Okay.
And then sometimes even the hunters themselves, so long as they are not hunting commercially, those living around the buffer zones still encroach sometimes to do some minor hunting. But when it's commercial, that's when it becomes detrimental to the policy.
Now,
so the forest guards actually are doing that, and sometimes they may encounter criminal elements, because going to hunt for elephants and so on, you have to be armed with guns.
Yeah.
So there's a minimum amount of arms allowed by the forest guard. But when it gets out of hand, they contact the police. Exactly.
All right. Okay. Let me ask a question here. Growing up, I know I used to see forest guards in my village. They wear uniform, they carry baton, and they threaten people who go into the bush to fell trees, or they even collect tolls. But over time, I stopped seeing them. What happened? Do they still exist? Because now we're talking about employing forest guards. Are we re-employing them? Are we reinstating them, or we want to employ to add more to what we have? Because I don't see them anymore.
Now, because of the law in enforcing forest investment in the forestry sector, there are less forest guards.
Okay.
Of course, like in the civil service now, to employ somebody, you have to go through a lot of process. So when the forest guard either retires or dies, they're not easily replaced as they used to be. There's underfunding, and then they are ill-equipped. There are times we've recorded forest guards being overpowered by loggers, and then they are tied up while the activities are going on. And sometimes if they forget to untie them, they die there. So now the forest guards are still there, but there's also an element of corruption in the system. Okay. They are supposed to protect the forest, but the same forest laws allow farmers to farm. While they are farming there, there's a system we call Tongia system. The farmers clear the land, farm, and then we give them tree crops to grow, and then they maintain their crops and the tree crops. But as they are farming, they encroach further into the land, and so long as they are able to settle both the forest officers and the forest guards, the activities go on. There are some forest guards and some forest officers that even give the Tonga farmers land to farm for them.
Okay.
So all the corruption in the country has still crept
into that
system. And of course, since it's not a visible system, you can imagine the level of rot that is going on there. Somehow the forest guards, they still man the roads sometimes so that if they don't catch you in the forest, when you are carrying your logs outside, they can arrest you. But again, you can still settle them. But there's also another problem. They are in the natural scheme of things, you're not supposed to convert. You have to saw trees inside the forest.
Okay.
You're supposed to fell. They have what they call a hammer, they stamp. So when you load and you are going out, the forest guard notice that it has been stamped and they say it's illegal.
That's a kind of passage.
But now people carry power chainsaw. So the forest guard will be waiting there and they'll see a lorry with planks. Of course, they will not. There's no way of knowing whether they are from the timber shade or whether they are directly from the forest.
Okay.
So a lot of.
Now, talking about how to ensure safety and to secure our forest preservation, do you think that if forest guards are better trained, perhaps in martial arts, to be some sort of better or more equipped security people, that it would help forest preservation in Nigeria? Starting with, to what extent do we go to train them to be able to handle our forests? Or are we talking about normal people in the village who are maybe locals, vigilante people? Are they the ones we're using? So how equipped and how trained are they presently?
Now, first of all, it's more appropriate to recruit forest guards from the locality.
Okay.
Because if you recruit somebody from Asaba and you post him, because he's going to be resident in the village, forestry activities are rural. Nobody will want to go to the village to stay. So when you recruit those locals, you need to train them.
Okay.
You need to train them, you need to equip them. So the level we have reached now, there is supposed to be a higher level of training, like you said, including martial arts, including combat readiness and so on and so forth. And I was watching the program just now with, you were talking about using satellite imagery to monitor corruption.
Yes.
We're supposed to use that to monitor
drones.
Drones and satellite to monitor the health of the forest, because with satellite imagery you'll be able to know whether the forest is actually growing in number or that is stocking or in diminishing.
Yes.
Even there are some there are some GIS and other techniques you can use to know whether even the trees are healthy.
Okay.
So all these things are supposed to be part of the training of the forest guard.
Okay.
Because with the diminishing number of forest guards, you need to increase the level of technology so that with fewer people, you are able to monitor the forest.
And of course, also to secure the forest, I think as well that the technology you're talking about will also help us know where the kidnappers are congregating, whether they're setting up cells in the forest and all of that. Don't you think that would also be part of the intelligence gathering that we need to support the work of the forest guards even and soldiers and the security chiefs? Do you agree that
Yes, I quite agree. But right now, I think we should not even have gotten to the level we got into now. We don't see the signs early.
Okay. We're not proactive.
We are not proactive. It's like, let me just digress a little bit. If you look at this iron condemn and other around, we're not saying that you should ask them to leave. But when you look at where they are staying, they squalor. If you
don't even have where they are staying.
Exactly. So even our housing policy is supposed to eject those people from where they are staying. If you don't have a proper accommodation and so on, why are you doing in an environment?
All right, we'll continue with the conversation. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we continue on management of our forests.
And
Stay with us.
preservation.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Yes, welcome back. We are with Dr. Dott talking about the management of our forests, its preservation also. Now, the government has become aware of the need for forest guards. Because as we're talking now, the National Assembly is... Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Echoes of the Niger Delta, telling the stories, preserving the heritage, and amplifying the voices of the people. Join the journey every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. only on Dott Television.
Yes, welcome back. As I was saying, we are with Dr. Dott talking about the management of our forests and, of course, its preservation. Let's come this way. Just now, government has become intensely aware or conscious of the need to set up, to employ, is it more or just to employ forest guards? And then they are not informed by most of the things you are saying about the need to preserve. They are more concerned about the security of our forests. Now, if you want to give government a piece of advice, can you come up with a holistic program of training and instruction for our forest guard we're going to employ in this new dispensation?
Yes, first of all, let the forest guards be employed to guard the forest against desert deforestation and encroachment, not for national security. Because national security at this level now requires some level of sophistication. Sophistication that can only, because of the level we've gotten to now in insecurity, by what we refer to as elite forces who are supposed to go in the tactical units. If you employ forest guard because of insecurity, because of banditry and so on, you are going to arm them. You're going to make them just for cannon fodder, because the bandits who are more desperate, who are better trained, are more equipped, will come for their guns. So that's not the right approach. Though we need more forest guards, but it's not for national security. How are you going to train them better than the police?
Or the army?
Are you going to have a National Guard college for training of forest guards? So that's not the reason now, because we seem to be, once an idea comes up, we seem to grasp onto that idea. Which even like the police itself, we used to have regular police before we have the mobile police. But now we don't know the difference because everything has merged. So we should be very, very tactful in everything we do. The forest guards are not for that purpose. But even if you want to employ them, get them properly trained. Because in the army and the police, losing your weapons is
it's an offense.
An offense.
Punishable
You
offense.
must give that same level of training to the forest guards. And then you also want to ensure that they are even properly kitted. And they know, because the most of this, I don't want to be referred to any particular tribe, but these guys who are in the forest, they are used to staying in the forest. Those armed men, they're used to staying there.
Forest life.
They are used to hunting, they are used to tracking, and so on and so forth. So if you put somebody in there who has no training, you will just getting that person exposed. So the training is the first and the most important thing.
Such training should be more
Such training should be such intense, and you should have a length of time, because you don't just recruit them and then disperse them into the forest. And then what are you going to arm? Are you going to arm them with AK-47? Because right now, the highest level of arm that we give to the forest guard is actually pump-action rifles. And that is to protect themselves from minor criminals,
confrontations,
like those who are poaching. But when it comes to criminal elements,
terrorists,
and so on and so forth. The forest guards, I'm afraid, cannot handle that situation.
So currently, what can you say are the biggest threats to our forests right now?
The biggest threat to our forest now is the insurgency and banditry.
Okay.
Because even if we have the best plan to manage the forest, you cannot go there to execute it. So we need to flush out those elements. Like I told before, both the national parks and the game reserves are supposed to attract foreigners in there to get foreign exchange, to let the locals to be gainfully employed as guides and so on and so forth. That is not happening right now. Then two, we need to, as a matter of fact, still expand. If we cannot expand the existing forest reserve, we should acquire more forest reserve in remote locations where the land grab is not high.
Okay.
Because right now, Nigeria has from the mangrove to the rainforest to the Sahel savanna, we need to preserve each of these ecological zones. Areas where we'll have to preserve the forest of these categories, as well as the biodiversity there. Because if we lose all of these things, it's a problem. Now, even for climate change itself, we used to have what we refer to as a shelter belt planting. You plant trees in belts across the northern part downward to encourage regrowth of forests and to ameliorate this climatic problem, to arrest desertification. But even that itself was laden with fraud, the process itself. So corruption is even destroying a lot of things. So anything we are going to do now to bring the forest back to its status, we have to, first of all, get people who know what they are doing. We need to know, they need to know that this is why we are doing this. And then not begin to shuttle the in the East Africa, for instance, they've taught the people that it's better for foreigners to come and you enjoy the proceeds than for you to start hunting and killing your animals. So even the locals are not stakeholders
in those places. It's foreigners that bribe the locals to poach the animals in the forest.
It depends on your level.
There's a syndicate.
It depends on your level of alliance and training. If you make up your mind that if I get some money now from them and I destroy the environment and people don't come again. So it's a choice. That choice is there for everybody. It's just making the right choice.
But I feel that kind of choice we want to boil down to the harsh economy.
Yes, if you make that choice and things begin to go bad, the economy is going to get harsher. It's going to get harsher. I don't want to delve into politics because the inequalities in the system is creating room for a lot of things.
Talking about the inequality in the system, there was something you said, and I noted it, that forest guards cannot handle certain levels of when insurgents come and all of that. It drew me back to what you said about the need to employ locals more because they understand the terrain. It is their village and
they know their forest.
Yes, they know where the dead bodies are buried in that frame. Now, talking about how to manage situations where maybe a forest guard notices that some externals have come in.
Yes.
What is the flow of things? What's the process that they're supposed to take? Do they have walkie-talkies? Do they have to communicate to anyone? How do they
Who do they reach first?
Troubleshoot in such situations to ensure that security agencies act promptly? Because you said we are not proactive.
Yeah, part of the training will involve this chain of command and the chain of communication.
Yes.
For instance, if walkie-talkies are not functional, even the GSM phone, you can, if you have a number to call, and you are sure when you call that number, the person you are calling will not leak information to even the bandits themselves, because the ordinary Nigerians, sometimes they are afraid to give information to the police.
Because at the end of the day,
that trust has to be there. That trust has to be there. You see, if you really want that system to work, like you said now, the locals know the terrain. But first of all, you need to de-escalate the level of violence there first, because the locals cannot handle what is happening. You can't send locals to Kanji Lake National Park now. The system has to be cleared by force, and that force is only with the military and some elements of trained police and maybe sometimes with military right now. So once that de-escalation has taken place, we can start all over again.
Okay.
But if you bring in forest guard to start handling that situation right now, you're going to have.
All right,
I'm
let
very
me
curious.
ask this
Henry,
question.
but I'm very curious to know. We've come to this point, and you are from the Citadel of Learning. You're a professor in this. You're a silviculturist. So how much research has been done in the area of forest management and preservation in the scheme of the reality of the present day Nigeria, to perhaps point to what should be done, the process that should be taken, how to even engage these forest guards that we're talking about? So how much of an intervention are academics having to do at this time?
Or are you even being consulted?
The level of consultation is low, especially within Delta State.
Okay.
But the Citadel of Learning can only carry out research and make our findings available. You understand? Let me give you an instance. In when we were here in Asaba, in Asaba campus of Delta State University, even the little land we were using for training was it's gradually, and I think as of now it's been taken over by land speculators in Asaba. They've sold up most of those areas. Okay. So even the base for training.
Were they not initially acquired for the purpose of the investment?
Wasn't it protected and maybe you don't have documents?
You see, if you buy land here with documents, some other families will come and sell that same land.
Yeah.
There's a level of lawlessness.
Okay.
And we were not mindful of the fact that this encroachment, though gradual, would be total. I think the Delta State University was not forceful enough. But then again, sometimes I heard that even when you contact government, they were nonchalant because some element of governments are also interested in the land.
Now, there's this last question we'll ask you before we let you go. Preservation has to do with afforestation, for instance. Part of it is afforestation. When you take away a tree, plant another tree. Now, what is the effect of desertification? To what extent can we replant in those areas that are being affected by drought?
You know, and the important species of trees to plant, to replant.
Yes, when you talk about the desertification, it's a gradual process. So even if you are going to take it back, it also has to be gradual, because if you plant in the desert now, you're going to start watering. So that's why the shelter bed system was created. You plant from south upward, so that as the climate is restoring, you are extending.
Okay.
Now, we have some plants that we call drought-tolerant species. Those ones that can withstand long dry season.
Do they have a name?
Like the common dongoyaro is one of them.
Okay.
So you plant some of those trees, and you as they grow and the soil becomes, because sometimes even the desertification doesn't just affect the climate, it also affects the soil. The soil becomes more sandy, so you have to look for species that are able to cope with both the physical structure of the soil and even the acidic nature of the soil, because a lot of things happen.
What are these important species of trees to plant? Just to yes.
You have all these northern species, the Isobellinia, Doka, Pachia giblobosa, and so on and so forth.
You want to hear names? I knew you was going to get to that. All right, Dr. Dickens Dollar, good having you and educating us on how to manage and preserve our forests, and of course what the government is doing. Thank you for coming. Yeah, we'll be running off now. So what's your take on our today's outing?
It's been interesting. We've said a lot about agriculture and the fact that food security is something that we should take more seriously as a country. Okay. At least, even if security has not been managed well, at least let Nigerians eat.
Eat well.
I believe that the Renewed Hope agenda should factor that vital part in. We keep hearing about food banks in some parts of the country.
Food baskets.
Food banks.
Food banks.
That the federal government, the Office of the First Lady is thinking of setting up. But those who even have money cannot buy enough food to feed their families. I think we should start from there before thinking about establishing food banks.
Palliative.
Yes, because we of course know that a lot of taxpayers' money will go into that, but at least let Nigerians who already have some form of money be able to buy enough to feed their families, as that's the only way to keep the hope alive.
All right,
Or to renew
success.
it eventually.
Yes.
What's your takeaway?
We've really had a lot today, and I think one major topic that really strike me is the welfare of security personnel, or the security arm of the country. How can a soldier live on 100,000 naira salary for the whole month? So there's this saying that a hungry man is an angry man. So you don't expect a hungry soldier to go out there and, fight for the country when he's not properly taken care of.
Well.
They should be well paid.
Good advocacy. Yes, on that note, we want to thank you for staying with us since the morning. Of course, our guys in the control room, we need to pay special homage to them, the likes of Nkechi Chikudi, Chika Ikechiku, Uzochi Okere, and of course, the youngest of them all is Aaron Ojeifo. Thank you for being there, making us look good, sound good on air. And of course, to the management of Dott TV, thank you for always providing the enabling environment for us to function. Thank you for being there. And of course, see you same time tomorrow. Bye for now. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.